What's up guys, it's TheCasualAussie back again with another Digimon TCG deck profile. Earlier today I uploaded a deck profile using 2 copies of the Giga Green Star deck, so today I'm going to be continuing that and uploading all 3 Star deck profiles today. If you guys haven't seen one of my starter deck profiles before, basically the scenario is your deck's been stolen or you've lost it or something's happened to your deck and your only option is to buy 2 copies of the Star deck for whatever tournament or event you are participating in. So with that in mind, I ignored the booster pack cards pulled from the booster packs out of these decks because they are random and you may not get the same thing. So just using 2 copies of what actually came in the Star decks themselves, I've gone through and built a 50 card deck for DigiEgg deck for you guys, and yeah, we'll just jump right into it. I'll explain my choices, and yeah, let me know if you did anything differently in the comments section below, if you were doing something like this as well. Anyway, starting off, we have 4 copies of Kapurimon. Kapurimon is the Digi-Egg of choice for the deck. It's the only Digi-Egg that comes with the deck. While this Digimon has Blocker, it gains plus 1000 DP during your turn. Not the best inheritable skill for a black deck, but it is still quite nice, and Kapurimon is just it's just a cute little guy. That's all I have to say about him. Was really struggling to actually build a list I liked with this deck for quite a while because I'm just not a fan of a lot of the cards in here. But anyway, moving on to the rookies, I play 4 copies of Agumon, 4 copies of Toy Agumon, 4 copies of, when I get him, Commandramon, and then finally 2 copies of Jazamon. So, Agumon, he is a 1k blocker, 3-2 hard play, 0 to evolve into, 1k. He can attack, he doesn't have a cost for attacking, but at the same time, he is only a 1k block. He is a bit on the weaker side, unfortunately, which is a bit of a drag, but he's still a blocker, and black is notorious for blocking. And then we have Toy Agumon at the end of your opponent's turn. If your opponent did not attack this turn, draw a card. Not a bad skill for a black deck because your opponent's usually not going to attack with their black Digimon because with their Digimon against a black blocker deck, especially if they've set up in a massive board. Like seriously, Cell 1.0 format, I've faced a couple of black decks and yeah, there's no getting past like 2 Andromons with a tired Kamina or 2 up, but we don't have to worry about that in this deck, but it is something to keep in mind if you are going to end up splashing cards from older sets into this deck. And then we have 4 copies of Commandramon. So with Commandramon, 4 costs a hard play, 0 to evolve into, but he has 5000 DP. That's why I like him at 4, because he, even though he has a bit more to hard play, he is still a good card. He is a bit of a beater as well, and with Kapurimon, Kapurimon doesn't really work with Commandramon. That was a terrible example. You know where I was going with that, but anyway, let me move on to Jazamon. Jazamon is a 2 cost to hard play a rookie Digimon, and that's really all he is here for. He has 1 cost to evolve into, so he is good for something like Rookie Rush, but he's not good to evolve into, which is why I only play 2 of him, and that is why I have a 14 lineup of rookies. Yeah, I try to keep ratios like 14 rookies, 12 champions, 10 ultimates, and then 8 megas, and then try and fit everything else around that. I mean, I have played some weird ratios in the past, but that is my favorite to stick to. But anyway, speaking of champions, we have 4 copies of Greymon, which I really love the art of, by the way. It is a nice art. 4 copies of the Dark Tyrannomon, and then finally here we have 4 copies of, what's this? Jazardmon. Yeah, Jazardmon. I think that's how you say it. I probably butchered that name. So with Greymon, end of the opponent's turn, it's essentially like the Toy Agumon. If your opponent did attack, draw a card. It's just nice to get resources like black blockers. Your opponent is not going to be attacking as often, so getting those extra draws to speed up your plays, because black blocker is actually a pretty slow deck at times. And then we have Dark Tyrannomon, who's just blocker -2 memory to attack, But he is a 1 cost to evolve into 6 cost to hard play, so he ain't all bad. Dark Tyrannomon is actually quite nice on the card, and yeah, these 1 cost blockers are honestly pretty nice. It's still toss up whether you want to play this 2 cost evolve blockers like Cordramon, or you want to play something like Dark Tyrannomon, or I guess Andromon technically would be the Andromon's the ultimate. Gardramon would be the level 4 black blocker you'd want to play probably over Dark Tyrannomon, but hey, what can you do? Black blocker is quite amazing. And then we have 4 copies of Jazzanmon because it's a 5 cost to hard play and it's 2 to evolve into. That's really all it's here for. It's just a 6k vanilla. It is nothing special off the top of my head. That's all it is. Just a 6k vanilla. I mean, does help making evolve. Yes, just really only a 6k vanilla. It's nothing special. But anyway, moving on to the ultimates, we have 4 of Megadramon, 4 of Metal Tyrannomon, and then finally 2 copies of Metal Greymon. I'll admit this is the ratios I struggled with quite a lot because I was going back and forth between 4 Metal Greymon and 4 Metal Megadramon. At one point in drafting this deck list, I was actually playing 3 copies of each because they are interesting cards. That's the downside with them. That's a good thing with them. They are interesting cards, but Megadramon has the inherent blocker skill so it turns your ultimates into blockers. Meanwhile, your Megas into blockers. Meanwhile, Metal Greymon is when Digivolving, one of your Digimon gains blocker until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it becomes a temporary blocker, which I guess ain't bad, but at the same time, it is still situational. Megadramon is more of a niche, so I guess you could experiment with ratio, see which one you like more. I like 4 Megadramon to Metal Greymon myself, just because it is a block of blacks, but I more or less am going to evolve into Megadramon, try and get Machine Dramon or Blitz Greymon to have blocker. But yeah, it's up to you. I spent forever working on these ratios. But anyway, Metal Tyrannomon is just a 9k beater. That's really all he is. He's a bit of a powerhouse. Not as good as the Metal Tyrannomon in red, but he's still pretty good. He is still pretty good, and I'm happy to have him in the deck. He was a guaranteed 4 of because these ones just are blocking support. Meanwhile, Metal Tyranno is just a big beater. Anyway, moving on to the Megas, I play 4 copies of Blitz Greymon, and then finally 4 copies of Machine Dramon. The only Megas that come with the deck, they are quite nice as well for starter decks, but this art, you can't deny how good this art is. But anyway, with Blitz Greymon, it has Security Attack +1 and main Digiburst 2. One of your Digimon gets plus 4,000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. So he is kind of nice. He can go up to 16k with Megadramon. He is a blocker, so 16k blocker during your turn. That is, during your opponent's turn, that is quite hefty for them to get over that, and then they are going to have to spend a lot of resources or just not attack at all. Which in that case, having stuff like Greymon and Toyagramon to get you extra draws for next turn ain't bad. And with Machine Dramon, when Digivolving, up to 2 of your Digimon get reboot until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is actually quite nice. Like, you can set up a board of blockers that can attack, like, let's say, you already have Blitz Greymon out, and somehow this turn you're able to get a Machine Dramon out. Digiburst 2 off the Blitz Greymon, goes up to 16k. Give it reboot off the Machine Dramon, and that is a 16k Security Attack +1 that stands itself back up at the end of your turn for your opponent to deal with in their turn. Not a bad combination, but it is a bit costly. I definitely prefer the other Machine Dramon to this one, if I am being honest. Because I have my Alt-Art, and that's really it. I love my Alt-Art Machine Dramon, what can I say? Anyway, moving on to the option cards, I have 2 copies of Laser Eye, and then 2 copies of Dark Side Attack. So with Laser Eye, trigger Digivolve 1 on after 2 of your opponent's Digimon. It's not a bad card. It's not a bad card. I'm leaning into Black's Digivolving strategy like Machine Dramon does. Spider Shooter also does that. So it's not a bad card. It is for the hard play, and hey, again, get rid of two of your opponent's higher level Digimon, which is not bad, especially for 4-cost memory. If they're going to waste a lot of memory going into something like an Omnimon, you might as well de-digivolve it back to an Mega, and yeah, deal with that. And heck, if you can play 2, even better. Why not? But anyway, then we have Dark Side Attack. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less. A lot of Digimon have a play cost of 7 or less, so it's not a bad card for a bit of spot removal here and there. And both security effects just activate the main effect. They're not stellar cards like Gaia Force or Hammer Spark, but they are pretty good. Anyway, final card of the deck I play is the Tamers, and that is 2 copies of the starter deck Tai Kamiya, and I'm going to have to line these up properly because I'm doing that upside down. But anyway, during your part, so when you use Blocker to suspend one of your Digimon, you may suspend this Tamer to unsuspend one of your Digimon. An amazing card for Blocker Black, I'm just going to say that. Being able to block one of your opponent's Digimon, suspend this, and then unsuspend one of your powerful blockers so they can block one of your opponent's cards again, is honestly quite insane. Like, there is no denying how insane that is. Especially if it's like a War Greymon from Booster Set 1. That is insane. That is completely insane. But anyway, that does bring me to the end of the deck profile. So if you guys enjoyed this deck profile, let me know in the comment section below. Also, feel free to tell me what changes you would make using only 2 copies of Machine Black, ignoring the cards you pulled from your booster packs. But head to the my description box. There's a link to my Twitter. Follow me there for more updates and uploads. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here for now. So until next time, stay frosty.